What's going on, my Jack brother? Coach Scott here. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you're not building muscle and what you can do to fix it. Except for reason number 1, which is genetics. Obviously, there's nothing we can do to fix that. And unfortunately, there's some of us who are non-responders, meaning that no matter how effective your training is, no matter how well you're eating, you're just not going to gain any muscle. Then there's others among us who are similar to me and genetically predisposed not to pack on a lot of muscle. I'm 5 foot 6.5 inches tall, 147 pounds. I've been training for over 30 years. It's just not in my genetic cards to be a 200-pound beast, or even 180 pounds or 170 pounds. I look at my son, who is 5 foot 10. He's about to turn 21. He's been training hard consistently for the past 7 years under my guidance, doing all of the right things. He's barely above 140 pounds right now. My dad been training for over 30 years, 5 foot 8, weighing in 155 pounds. My uncle, 5 foot 7, he's in the 140s as well. So looking at my family, it's a pretty good indication that I am not going to be a massive guy. And it's not to use genetics as an excuse, but at the same time, when things are slowing down, when you're not gaining much muscle, it does help to gain some of that perspective, especially if you have family members who are into lifting as well. Now into reason number 2 why you're not building muscle, and that is your training age. How many years you've been lifting. No matter how great your genetics are, after 4 to 5 years of consistent hard lifting, your progress is going to begin to dramatically slow down. And after 10 years of consistent hard lifting, we're talking a game of ounces at this point. So if you've been lifting for over 10 years consistently with great effort, I mean, you're lucky to expect to gain a pound or 2 per year. And when you break that down on a monthly basis, I mean, we're talking minuscule gains. So it may seem like you're not gaining muscle, but you are gaining. It's just at a very slow pace. So you really need to put things into perspective with how many years you've been training with consistent hard effort and kind of gauge how much muscle you should expect at this point. And now into reason number 3 why you're not building muscle, and that is you're not in a calorie surplus. If you're trying to lose fat and build muscle at the same time, good luck with that. It's tough enough to build muscle when you're in a calorie surplus, let alone in a calorie deficit. If you're trying to build muscle while consuming maintenance level calories, gaining or gaintaining, it's definitely possible. You're just going to make the process a lot slower. So to give yourself the best chance at building muscle, you want to make sure that you're in a calorie surplus. So if you're new to lifting, a novice lifter, I recommend that you consume about 300 calories above your maintenance intake. If you're an intermediate lifter, about 4 or 5 lifting years experience under your belt, recommend consuming about 200 calories above your maintenance intake. And if you've got over 10, 20, or like myself, over 30 years of lifting experience under your belt, I'd recommend about 100 calories above your maintenance intake. Now, to walk you step by step through this process, I'm going to include a link down below in the description to the free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked, where you'll see a link to a calorie calculator I have where you'll enter your age, height, weight, activity level. That's going to give you your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure. That's how many calories you would consume to maintain your weight, and then you would just add that surplus in addition to that based on your training age. And now into reason number 4 why you're not building muscle, and that is you're not giving your absolute best freaking effort in the gym. And in some cases, it may not be your fault. The industry is full of noise lately. There is a lot of fear around training to failure, a lot of talk about RPE, rate of perceived exertion, and RIR, reps in reserve, and a lot of recommendations saying that you should never train to failure. You should always leave at least like 2 reps in reserve, and that the amount of muscle you're going to gain from leaving 2 reps in reserve is the same as if you train to failure, and if you train to failure, you need a lot more time to recover. The thing is, we suck. We absolutely freaking suck at gauging what true momentary muscular failure is. A lot of people stop thinking, oh yeah, I've got about 2 reps in the tank, and it's probably like 4 or 5 reps in the tank. Like those last 2 to 3 reps are freaking awful tough reps where your bar speed slows right down, and it can be very difficult to get that weight up. Whereas a lot of people, they think that's training beyond the point of momentary muscular failure. So if you're not struggling with any reps on any set, chances are you're not training as close to failure as you may think you are. And the more lifting experience you have, the more you need to start incorporating advanced training techniques that safely take you beyond that point of momentary muscular failure. Utilizing techniques such as drop sets, or extended rest pause sets, or mechanical advantage supersets, or partial reps where you finish the set, you get to the point of failure, and you just keep burning it out with a shorter range of motion, or even that performing a slow negative on the final rep. You want to make sure that you are challenging your muscles. It becomes more and more important to challenge your muscles in ways that you haven't in the past in order to eke out as much muscle gains as you possibly can and achieve your true genetic potential. And now on to reason number 5 why you're not building muscle, and that is you're not being smart about your recovery. You're not consistently getting an adequate amount of sleep. We're talking 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each and every night. You're not managing your stress well. You're not incorporating active recovery into your lifestyles, things like walking or rowing that get the blood pumping, delivering nutrient-rich blood to the muscles that you just worked in order to help speed up the recovery process. You're not incorporating deload weeks into your training. It should be like every, say, 5 to 8 weeks, reducing the load that you're lifting and just give your body a break from the training just temporarily and then get right back at it. And not incorporating low volume training phases throughout the year. I highly recommend you incorporate 2 to 3 4-week low volume training phases where you really reduce it to maintenance level volume, maybe 8 to 10 sets per muscle group per week. And this is a great way of resensitizing your muscles to the training stimulus. So once you get back to bumping up the volume again, your muscles are going to respond much better than if you were to keep the volume at a moderate or high rate all the freaking time. It's also going to give your body a chance to fully recover and the fatigue to dissipate from the muscles and your joints. And then you get right back at it and you can approach your training with a lot more zest and vigor. So being smart about your recovery is only going to allow you to build more muscle, to give more effort, and to challenge yourself during those times. You can only challenge, even like Olympic athletes and pro athletes have off season where they dial things back a bit, give themselves a break, and then they ramp it back up again. So approach your training in that fashion as well, and it will greatly reward you. So those are the 5 biggest reasons why you're not building muscle. I'd love to hear which ones you think are affecting you the most. Please take a moment to drop a comment down below to share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback. If you enjoyed today's video, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do him a favor and share it with them. And before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you in the next video.